name is Musa Walaikipia. This is Real Talk Today. Karibuni sana. And I want to remove my mask because we have social distance around here. And karibuni sana. Today, our topic is the role of mentorship in our society. We live in a society where everyone is for himself and God is for us all. In the African traditions, there was some sort of mentorship from the family, from the society, and the child is said to have been raised by the whole society. May it be the parents, may it be the neighbors, may it be the uncles, may it be the teachers, everybody. Case at point, if you could have been disciplined by someone rather than your parents, and then go home, and then you look in a manner to suggest that you're crying, your mother would start, beating you up again before even they understand why actually the neighbor was beating you. And that is the kind of a society that we are raised in. And there was sort of sanity in our society. But today, everything is different. The only unit that exists is the family unit, the nuclear, mother, father, and children. And in many instances, there is no father or there is no mother. And when, even if there is a mother and father, in many cases, you find that we have a lot of dysfunctionality when it comes to the family. And therefore, even that point of the family unit, you may find that there is no enough mentorship there. Again, the role models that our young people are following, you will find that most of it is negative, what we call the negative mentorship. Many people glorify the issues of singleness. Many people glorify the issues of alcoholism and drugs and substance abuse. Many of the role models that the young people are following up, you'll find they are talking about, co-parenting. The girls will say, I want to be single, I don't want to be disturbed, but I need a child. So the issues of co-parenting and that kind of notion is in our society. And most of the young people, that is what they're following. The issues of divorce, you'll find also that is what is happening in our society. And therefore, we are asking ourselves today a very simple question. What is the role of mentorship in our society? Is it even important? Who are these people that our young people are looking up to? If from the word go, from the family, there is no good example, in parents, there is no good example in teachers. You'll see very, very weird stories of teachers, impregnating children, to teenagers. And who is there even mentors in our today's society? And what is the role of mentorship? And today, the people who are helping me to, to dissect this topic, there are people that have been in this platform. One of them is a mentee, and another one is a mentor. One of them is Tabisu Wanjiko Njoroge. She's a friend of mine. She's my wife, actually. And she's one of the directors of Destiny Shapers Mentorship Program. And actually, she's one of the co-founders of the Real Talk Today. So, Tabi Susan, salimia wananchi.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. And I'm glad to be here today.
Karibu sana. You'll be helping us to understand the issues of mentorship. And actually today, we might not be asking you who you have mentored. Although that one will be the last question, asking you specifically, have you been mentored and who has been mentoring you? On my left, I have another good friend of mine. He is my co-host in another program. And he's a very good friend of mine. Nikki Robert, you can remove your mask and say hi to our viewers. This is a young man that I've known for a very long time. And I'll be asking him those hard questions when it comes to people that he look up to in life as far as mentorship is concerned. Nikki Robert, say hi to our viewers.
Thank you very much, Moses. First of all, is to thank you for welcoming me here and allowing me to be on this platform as well. I want to say hi to everyone that is watching, wherever you're watching from. Yeah, I'm Nikki Robert, and you'll get to know me better as we go on. Back to you, Moses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Today we are talking about mentorship. And when you think about mentorship, what does it mean to you, Tabisu? What does mentorship means to you as a person?
For me, mentorship is that process where, as an individual, you decide to work with someone.
Yes.
Whereby you listen to them, you share insights, you also plan and strategize on the goals and all that. So basically, it's working with someone.
Working with someone. Nikki Robert, what does mentorship means to you?
I don't know. I'll just use a very simple way to define it and everything. I think it's trying to help someone through their visions and goals, get them to look into the right direction.
Yes.
By impacting wisdom upon their lives and giving them advice.
So to you, mentorship is more of a compass. You know, that person that you look up to give you direction.
Yeah, giving them direction.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So that is how I look at it in terms, because there are different ways of mentoring everyone.
Yes.
There are people who you get mentored towards your dreams. There are
Yes.
people get mentored towards maybe a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. So I look at
And I'm getting to that. I'll get to that and ask you, what kind of mentors are in your life. But let me start with Tabesu and ask, do you have people who you call mentors in your life?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And
Tell us about it.
just like Nikki is mentioning, there are various people who offer mentorship to myself
Yes.
in various aspects of life. Professionally, there are those people I look up to and feel that this is where, or rather, this is the direction I like to follow. Also, there are people who offer mentorship in form of ministry.
Yes.
And also my passion of working with young people, young ladies. There's also that aspect of those individuals.
Yes.
So yes, I have mentors.
Awesome. And in this first part of this program, we basically talking about you as people, us as people, if we have those mentors, that people that mentor us in our life. But we'll also get into the society and ask ourselves, what kind of idols are we seeing, Nikki? We have discussed with you, in many occasions on what young people are looking up to. You find there's a celebrity out there, they glorify singleness, single parenthood. Some of them glorify divorce. We are getting into that. But I want to tell our viewers that if you have any comments and suggestions, you can put on our Facebook, and we'll be able to recognize your presence and also read your comments live. And we'll be more than glad to engage you. Nikki, do you have mentors in your life?
Yeah. It's a very funny question coming
Yes.
from you, because
I know, right? Yeah.
Again, knowing where we've come from, that we've started as friends, people even who did not see eye to eye at some point,
Yep.
and right now I think we are like family. Yeah, I have mentors. You being one of them.
Humbled.
Tabesu, I appreciate that she's here. I'm not even scared or ashamed to say that she's also my therapist.
Karibu.
Get it? So I have business mentors. I have life mentors.
Yes.
Yeah. So I try to have mentors in every kind of field.
Yes.
People who are wise and people who know, to point someone into the right direction.
Yes.
So I have mentors different. So you being one of them, Cyrus Carey. I also look up to different guys out there, people like Steve Harvey.
Yeah, people like that you have never met.
Yeah.
I would want to say, I also look up to, I don't know why, but I like his sense of leadership. His story really relates to me very well. The former president of US, the 44th, Barack Obama. When you read his book, The Audacity of Hope, actually I relate with him very much in very many aspects of life. So I agree with you. But specifically, Nikki, taking into consideration, and I'll also ask Tabesu that, you are a professional photographer. Do you have a role model, a person that you say, if I get a chance with this person, I would want them to mentor me, although I follow them probably on social media, read about them. Do you have such kind of a mentor?
Yeah, basically in terms of photography, you're talking in terms of photography,
Yes.
because I'm more inclined to the film direction.
Yes.
But in terms of a photographer, there's one called Taylor Jackson.
Yes.
But in terms of film,
Yes.
that is where, because this is where I see that's the end goal.
The future, yeah.
That's the future again. So I have people that I want to work with, like Tyler Perry, Will Smith, Kevin Hart, Eddie Griffin.
Yes.
So those are actors and comedians, I've done.
Please tag those guys here on this video so that they know they have a fan in Kenya, a person who look up to them, and who knows, you might find yourself
Who
in
knows?
Hollywood.
Who knows? I'd appreciate that
Yeah,
again.
go
So
ahead.
I have people that I look up to in terms of what I do as a
Yes.
passion, and which I turn into business. You helping me through that again.
Yes.
So those are a few that I have mentioned. But there are lots of things and people there are lots of people that I look up to and works. That is what I'm terming as things that I want to achieve. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Tabisu, what do you think is the responsibility of a mentor in someone's life? Because you said you have mentors, and Nikki, feel free to jump into this conversation
true. Yeah.
anytime you feel like. But Tabisu, what do you think is the responsibility of a mentor in someone's life?
I feel the responsibility of a mentor is two-way. The mentor may want to reach out to someone and mentor them in the various aspects of life. However, the mentee also needs to be available and willing to go through that process. So it's two-way. But to answer your question is, a mentor has that responsibility of giving you feedback, because feedback helps us grow. So the mentor's responsibility is to call you aside, and together you're going to talk, and you're going to analyze what are the things that I need to work on as a mentee. So feedback, I feel, is the most central point when it comes to mentorship.
Yeah, when you talk about feedback,
Yes.
let's back a little bit and think about a young man, let's say from 3, from 4, and they admire, you or Nikki or myself. How do we start? Because I know the core business of organization is mentorship. How does this young person go about? Because they might be afraid of you. Because I think that is what is happening in our society. That I would like to be Moses, to be like Moses, but how do I get to him? What do you what would be your advice as far as mentorship is concerned? Because this young person probably is seeing you, they might want to be like you, they don't know how to approach you. What do you think of that kind of a setting? Because I know we have gone to high schools. I remember Nikki. I knew him when he was in high school, and he was bold enough to come to me, to ask me about stuff, and I would recommend books to him. But how do we go about it?
One is also creating a platform, just like you're saying, pouring yourself out there to reach these individuals. And not just going, just like you're mentioning, it could be a big population, but there's someone seated at the back or at the middle, and they want to approach you, but they don't know how. So during the mentorship, it's also important to have groups. You can divide a large group in this, and you as the mentor who has gone there can now go one-on-one on those small groups. And using that group of 12,
Yes.
you may even pick someone who has a question or they have a concern, and from that small group, they'll also be able to approach you.
Yes, and we'll also, Nikki, do you want to jump in on that? How do you think you go about? Because I will also be asking you if you have mentees, but that one is not for now.
Yeah.
But what do you think, the mentees, the young people out there, would do, or what do you think would be the steps into getting a mentor?
And to getting a mentor, I think first of all you need to know what you want.
Yes.
Because again, in getting a mentor, you can even get a mentor for negative stuff. People who teach you to do things like drugs.
Yes.
Those are also mentors in a different view, in a different perspective. But first of all, into getting a mentor, you need to know what you want in life. Try to find someone who is elderly in age, someone who is also experienced. Okay, you might find someone who is younger, but they need to be experienced as well. People who are oriented in terms of your vision
Yes.
or where you want to go. Yeah, I think those are the few things that I think I would advise a young person to do before they get a mentor. You need to know who you're following, and you need to know that the person's I think stands, what they stand for,
Yes.
what they are doing, where are they headed.
Yeah.
As a person, are they a person worthy, like you following them? Yeah, I think that is what I look up to when I'm looking into getting a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, or someone that I look up to.
So in the beginning of it, the introduction of this program today, I talked about parents. Do you think, Tabesu and Nikki, do you think parents should be the first role models, or when we talk about mentors, or should be the first people to mentor their children? Because you find that in the 19th century, the parents played a very big role in the society. And I told you that if my mother would have, I get beat up there by some other parents or some other adults, and then I go home, my mother had a way of looking at me and realizing this guy was crying, and I would be disciplined again even before. And I look up to whatever my mother was doing, and I find that, like, not only as discipline, but as sort of a mentorship when I was growing up. Do you think the parents should be the first role models of their children and mentors? Like I've told you in the past that I would want, without coercing my son, I would want to hear my son one day stand and say, my mentor, my father is my mentor, my mother is my mentor. That I think that one would be the greatest moment of my life. What do you think about it?
Yes, knowing that the child gets to pick habits and behaviors from you as a parent, that is the ideal. That the parent be the first role model of the child. However, we have individuals who probably don't have the parents, but they can also, that does not mean they don't have role models. They can look for an uncle, an aunt. If they are not there, also someone, just like you had mentioned, someone they can now look up to. But to answer your question, yes, a parent ought to be the first role model to the child.
What do you think, Nicky Roberts?
Yeah, I think I'd rather speak from experience.
Go ahead, sir.
Because I think parents play a huge role in terms of growth to a kid. So I'm thinking, I'm not, it's not actually I'm thinking, because I wish my mom understood things like my gifts. I remember one time I used to be really attracted to art. This is a true story. So I really loved when Churchill was coming up, the program, the comic program, the stand-up show. So I really loved to watch Eric Omondi. So I'm watching Eric Omondi. I'm so inclined to listening to that joke and the punchline. And I think my mom wanted to me to do something. But in my mind, I was like, whatever she wants me to do, I think she wanted me to either get my uniform from the clothesline. Ilikuwa tu hapo nje. Unaelewa? So nilikuwa najua na hata hakuna pali, ni place kuna security. So mimi namwambia mama, acha tu nimalize tu hii joke tu iingie niende. Nikasimama 2-3, I'm just looking at like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. By the time Eric Omondi was heading to the punchline, my punchline was a hot slap that got me back to reality. I was like, hey, what is happening? So I felt really bad that I think my mom really thought that I'm so much inclined to the telly, or so much attracted to it, or maybe. But my mind or my system is attracted to entertainment.
Yes.
I look up to people like Akina Njugush, Abel Mutua, director. My mom, I wanted me to be inclined to education.
Yes.
I'm not badly off, but that is not my passion. Sometimes I look at things I learned in high school and I feel like I wasted my time.
I know, right?
At some point, I'm not rubbing off or bashing the education system. People should go to school, but I think
many of us went for exams.
Yeah, knowing what you want and being forced. You know, there's learning and being forced to something. So I think parents should really take their time to understand their kids, because if my mom, I didn't even ask for much. My mom used to hear that ninashinda nikichekesha watoto shule.
Little did she know.
Ananiambia in our friend's mother tongue. So, you know.
So the issues of talent.
Yeah, she just felt like I'm getting lost.
Yes.
Trying to be an actor. So that is what I'm picking up right now. You see where the problem is.
Yes.
Because if you should have just supported even morally, I think I would be far.
So I think what I can sense you saying is that, and this actually will be a topic for another day, and we can discuss our education system and what it has done to to us. Nikki, you're lucky. Probably you went to school when there were 5 subjects, is it?
Oh, yeah.
For us, we went to school when there was art and craft and music, home science, wood, and some of these things did not even make sense to some of us. I could have also wished, and we'll talk about education another day, that there was a way of knowing what is the talent of this young person, what is the passion of this person. I'll give you a story another day of how my first course I wanted to do in IT.
Okay.
I wanted to do IT, but when I went to all the universities, they could discourage me. These kind of courses you did in high school, you cannot do IT, you don't qualify. And the only university I qualified, they were charging me $1 million per year. So that is a story for another. That is a story for another day. I'm not going to mention them. I'll mention them when you interview me to give you
the story.
My story. I'll tell you my story one of these days. But that is family, and we understand, and I agree with Tabesu that the parents should be the first mentors of these children. And more so, one responsibility of a mentor, and Tabesu told us, is to listen and to give feedback. And therefore, the parents, we are not telling the parents to be friends of their children, but we are telling them to parent their children, and to be mentors. I really like when I meet young people on the road that I don't know, and they tell me, Moses, you're my mentor, and I don't even know them, by the way. So I wish that children and teenagers and our young people would say the same. I've attended so many graduations, and only in an isolated time, once or twice, that young people say, my mentor is my father. They always point other people, but I would want for us the parents to think about that. What about the church? What is the role of the church as far as the mentorship is concerned? What do you think is the role of the church?
I think the church plays a huge role, being that this is where we come to give ourselves, or to pour our hearts spiritually, mentally. You want to let things go, and the church, I think, having even facilities again, like I am thankful to the church that we have a basketball court right here. That plays a huge role to helping the community. Understand? Having those kind of things, having those musical instruments, and having young kids or young people trying to learn them, it's also another thing. Speaking to also in terms of things like relationships. The church, I think, is a place where you find a good foundation. We are the people who are supposed to impact the right things. And we do as we say. I think, so for me, I think the church plays a huge role. And we should take it as a task that even to the outside community, because the problem is, and sorry to speak this from a negative point of view, is sometimes as the church, me being part of the church, is we look at those young people outside there as them, and we as us, and yet we are supposed to
reach them,
become one, talk, and reach out to them. That shouldn't be the case. We should not condemn them.
And actually, the reason why I'm asking this, because when you talk about the ills that are in the society, we are now left to hear people say, where is our hope? You know, our teenagers are drinking spree every time. Our teenagers are, you know, we have teenage pregnancies problem in our society. We have depression rate is very high. And you can hear the cry of people out there and say, the only thing that we are lacking is mentorship. We are lacking mentorship. And therefore, when I was asking the role of the church, and I want also to give Tabesu, you know, a chance to answer on that. You know, do we have role models in church, and what would you want to see as a young person? Because I think when young people are coming to the church, you know, basketball is one of it. You know, they are mentored there in sports. They have instruments, music. They can be mentored by the people there. I've seen very many young people now getting interested with, you know, the new equipment that we have as far as, you know, video and audio is concerned. You know, they have that kind of mentorship. But Abesu, what do you think? Do you think the church is doing enough to mentor? Because when you hear people crying out there, they are asking, what is the role of the government? The government, we need the schools to reopen so that our children can go get mentored. And now that the school has been off, you know, for over 7 months now, people are asking, what is the role of the church? Because we have so many children that have gotten pregnant. You know, what do you think is the role of the church as far as mentorship is concerned? Because everybody is saying mentorship, mentorship, mentorship. But what do you think?
That's actually a very good point. And yes, the church has a role, and the role is creating programs and those systems in which these young people and these different and various groups can get. But also, I like to pose a question. Maybe the programs are there, but the individuals are also not willing to take up these programs.
So when you talk about individuals, you're talking about teenagers and youth.
Yeah, teenagers and youth. The program is there, but you do not want to embrace. So back again to that point of mentorship, it's again two-way, because one party may be willing to help, but it can only go as far as the other party is willing to receive. And what are some of the things that can be implemented and be brought about? If maybe just like you've mentioned, training, which is also a form of mentorship, and being maybe in a position where this young person is not there, working with them, letting them know this is what happens, and also the young person having the willingness to go through. Also, just like you're saying, yes, there are so many things out here happening. And how can someone want maybe to have a mentor in church? Is by seeing this mentor standing out and really being enthusiastic about the Christianity to a point of even this young person saying, if Moses is living this, I guess I want to follow him. So we also need to have mentors who are really sold out to what they believe in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for Nikki and Tabesu, do you think? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add a short point or just support what Tabesu is saying in terms of the willingness of the other party joining to come to at least to get help. I remember Moses, before we even started anything.
Yes.
The one thing is, I told you that I want to go to church, and you welcomed me to Baptist.
Absolutely, yeah.
But haukuchukua kiboko atukanikujia nyumbani. I had
you were willing.
Yeah, I had to make that step that Moses amenikaribisha. So mimi nastahili
niende church.
Niende church. Unaelewa? When I came to ask for help, when I called you na nakwambia like nikakwambia sasa nasikia nimelemewa. So that you referred me to your wife. I had to ask you first. You know, you're not an angel.
Yep.
Ungejua niko na depression or anything, or I have issues.
Yes.
But I had to ask first, and then I had to commit to the help. Yeah, so I just want to speak to the young people out there that another thing is you will feel like you're really alone, but if you do not speak, if you do not go for help, if you do not ask, you know, even Matthew 7:7 says, you know,
ask and it shall be given to
Good.
you. Seek and you shall find.
The
Knock
first
and the
word-
door shall be open to
the
you.
first word there, when that point when ask and you shall, it's ask,
Yes.
not you'll be given and then you'll ask. Is ask and you'll be given.
Let me ask you something, Nikki, and Tabesu. You know, when you're talking about the church, and because the reason why I want to ask another question about church is, do you think, and we are not saying that we are holy, do you think that we need to be, to be the Christians we talk about, with the light of the world. Because if you are living double standards, double life, such that, you're in between things, and a young person wants to be like you, all of a sudden, you're messing up with life. What do you think about us, the church? Do you think we should really be focused on, on mentorship, and what do you think about, double, the double lives? What do you think, Tabesu? Let's start with Tabesu.
Yes. We have individuals who actually make people drop out of even believing in this system, or rather believing in the Christianity. Because just like you've mentioned, you have a young person who has really been interested in following what you're doing,
Yes.
and following up. Then one Saturday morning, they meet you on the streets doing a totally different thing from what you preached to them on Sunday.
Yes.
So that young person is bound to feel, if this is the God this mentor of mine is following, and he's still living the same life that I'm living, I don't think there's any big difference.
Yes.
So you end up discouraging people who are actually, or rather were in that path. But again, to now refer to the mentor. Remember, people are humans,
Yes.
and we are bound to make mistakes.
True.
So for as much as, yes, you have the mentor, also don't see them like a god, in
A
quotes.
semi-god.
Yes, because they will make mistakes.
Yes.
But again, if you have someone who is above them, that you can refer to any time that you have been disappointed by your mentor, that will give you a place to bounce back.
Allow me to appreciate the people that are watching us on Facebook. I can see John Desi, Fidel, thank you so much for sharing the video widely. We appreciate Masai Leather Collections. Thank you so much, Joseph Karaoke, Anasema. And there are young parents repeating the same parenting mistakes. The mistakes that we're talking about, how our parents were, did not mentor us, and now we are doing the same to our children, and that is very bad for the parents. And then our friend Lutan, Onani, Margaret, and so many other people that are watching. And Lutan had said, ongezeni volume, and therefore we have ongezad the volume. Thank you so much for those who are watching us. And before we get out of the church, the church issue, Nicky Robert, talk to the church, because the church is watching. And when you're talking about mentorship, the reason why actually we are here today is the cry of the society. I know myself and my wife, we do mentorship a lot, but it is not enough. It is not enough for me and Tabesu to go in the whole society and mentor. We can only mentor this far. So talk to the church as far as mentorship is concerned.
Yeah, I think the first thing I just want to say to the church is, the church should be a home.
Yeah.
Should be like a father and a mother. Because if someone comes out there or comes to the church bleeding, or feeling forsaken or feeling left out, we are the people to embrace them. I want to tell the church that condemning people, condemning sin is all right.
Yep.
But there's something that I tell you about our church that I watch online that also really helped me to come back to church. That is Transformation Church. They talk about things like progressing and not perfection. We have had this holier than thou mentality and things that we show out there, and we do not live by what we
remember
say.
that Jesus was a friend of sinners.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So if Jesus could eat at tax collectors' homes, who are we to start condemning people who have issues out there?
So we need really to even have programs for these girls that like the issues of teenage pregnancies. Do you think we should, like throw them away, or what do you think?
No. I think the first thing, and this is an issue we discussed with one of my friends called Steve. So they have already gotten pregnant.
Yes.
So after they are pregnant, what else do you want to tell them after you condemn them? Do you think it will just evaporate?
It will not.
It won't. So just first of all, guide them.
Yes.
There has been a mistake. We acknowledge that. But the first thing is start to embrace them, guide them. Okay, as a church,
Yes.
guide them. I think that is what I would tell the church is condemning these people
Excuse me.
is not the right thing. Because I've seen I have seen a friend somewhere making a mistake, and the church is right there, grabbing them and throwing them off and trying to rub their sin off to, to show them how
Excuse me.
how satanic they have been. You remember that woman who was brought to Jesus, and they were trying
The
to.
issue of blood?
No,
which
she
one?
was I'm trying
A
to
prostitute. A prostitute.
avoid-
yeah,
to
yeah,
avoid
yeah,
those
yeah.
words,
I'm
you
the
know.
host, I can say that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I remember.
Let me just say a lady of the night.
Yes.
I don't know
Mhm.
if those days they used to work during the day.
Mhm.
Nowadays they do. Basically,
Mhm.
Jesus told them, "This is what I want the church to pick up.
Mhm.
If any of you has not sinned, be the first to throw the
To
stone."
throw stones.
And nobody did.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's learn from those things.
Actually, that is a very good place to leave the issues, the matters of the church, and we'll engage pastors because this is an issue. Actually, we really need to take very serious as a society. And but there are so many problems in the society. For example, I've mentioned depression, teenagers, pregnancies. Do you think, Tabesu, lack of mentorship contributes to these ills in the society?
Yes, I can say yes, it does. Because probably there are people they were looking up to out there, just like we have said. They maybe fell in the same trap, but they're still seeing them living the life and not knowing the details of maybe the struggles that they went through. So yes, a lack of mentorship and just assumption plays a big role, whereby you think, I can still do this and I'll still come out right. So yes, it's actually a big problem that there's no that form of mentorship, just like you're saying.
Do you think mentorship contributes to reducing these kind of ills in the society? Depression, teenagers, pregnancies, drugs and substances abuse. What do you think? Do you think if we get serious on the issues of mentorship from the family, from the society, and from the church, do you think it will contribute to bringing down some of these ills?
Yeah, of course, yes. I don't know. Call myself a test case or
Yeah, sample.
a sample.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it has been proven. It's worked.
Yep.
I'm right here. I'm not going through depression.
Yes.
I didn't. I just want to let the people know that at least by the time Tabesu was finding out whether I thought I had OCD, and then we took it a notch higher. Probably I had bipolar. So, and dealing with that, by the time I had that, I was not at a good place. But taking steps that she told me to take, and precautions and things like that, I'm here. I'm okay. Can be able to work. I can be able to relate.
Yes.
I'm not that fast to anger right now. It is important. I think that is what I want to say, and I want to tell people that mentorship is not just talking.
Yes.
Even what you do. Just an example that I was having in mind right
Yes.
now. I cannot be walking at home and those young boys always see me drunkard. People inclined to seeing your negativity.
Yep.
That is how the people are. Right? If I always walk there drunkard, these people will think, those class 2, class 5, our doggo. What
I call it non-verbal
Yeah.
mentorship.
Non-verbal
They're
mentorship.
just
So
observing.
they just see you. Anytime I'm walking there drunkard and everything, that is what they will think.
Yes.
This is cool thing to do. This is what they will think. This is the nice thing. When you grow up, I'm looking up to staggering like this.
Yes.
And that is what they will do. So I also want people to know that what you do out there also impacts someone somewhere.
You've made me think of something that we have talked in the past, Nikki, Robert. People have been talking a lot about the issue of boy-child.
Yeah.
And the issue of boy-child, I think it's an issue of mentorship.
Yeah.
Because we might not take time to sit down with these young boys, but what we do, what we say, how we do our things, actually they are following and they are silently saying, if Moses does this, I want to be like him. I want to do that.
Yeah,
do you think actually that one is one of the contribution of the boy child being so, I would say, irresponsible?
Yeah, another thing, you remember me giving you an example the other day is when I told you that hakuna mwanaume aliwahi funzwa kuingia kwa nyumba usiku.
Usiku ndio.
Hatujaienda darasa tukaambiana nyumba tunaingianga
saa moja
na saa 3 ikielekea, you know. But we feel and we have learned from our forefathers and the African culture that it is manly kuingia nyumba usiku.
Alafu mkiwa hata pale kwa mtaani mnaambiana, ukisema unaenda nyumbani unauliza unaingia mapema nyumbani kwani wewe ni kuku?
Good. We've never
ama ulikaliwa.
We've never gone to a school and but
yeah, right.
Because we saw our forefathers doing that. Because we saw our fathers doing that, our grandparents.
Yes.
We felt that it's a manly thing to do.
Yes.
But we've not realized that it's responsibility. You know. It's a stereotypical thing. Again, it is. So I think it is important to our young men. We are really as men, we are really inclined to doing the right thing and telling the right stories and showing the right way.
Yes.
Again, because again, I was thinking, if a young boy sees me disrespecting Tabesu as a woman,
yes,
or a mother out there, you know, they will think that is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
If a mom or an elderly woman says hi, and I don't say hi back, they will think that is the right thing to do. But it's not. They're just observing. They're just observing. And yes. I have not told them. But when they grow up, they'll feel like, even me, I don't want to say hi. You know, the ego.
Yes.
We want to portray that ego. But I don't want to curse. Yes. But these are the things that we do. And we portray out there. And we think that now because we are adults, we can just do anything. But there are people who are watching.
Yep.
And that is how it has affected the boy child to drunkardness.
Yes.
Because again, as men, we have refused to talk. So we think, and we have showed the other young men is, if you're feeling depressed, drown the depression with cans and bottles of things. Will not talk because
and look for girls.
And look for girls.
Let me cut you short.
Yeah.
Because even as we come to the tail end of this broadcast today, I think the issues of mentorship is very important. Last Saturday, I attended a function and I had not prepared to speak. And when I was told to speak, I was given a chance to speak for 1 minute. And what came into my mind, because that is what I'm passionate about, was the issues of boy-child. And when I spoke and finished, the parents were quiet and listening and, and understanding. You can tell they were nodding their heads. But when the MC took back the microphone, do you know what he said? Wanaume ni wanaume. Kwa hivyo, wanaume wajikaze. And I was like, you have watered everything that I've said, that wanaume ni wanaume. And that is why now we really need to take charge as our generation, Nikki. And I'll give you an opportunity as we finish to, to give your final thoughts. But I think we need now to, to be good examples to these boys. Tabesu told us we are not gods. We are not small gods. But let's understand that Caden and some other boys, they are watching us. And I might not be able to line up boys and mentor them, but through our programs, we do that. But as an individual, I have a responsibility of, being the best example I can. What do you think, Tabesu, about the issues of girls? Do you think, the ills that are contributing, as I read you, actually a comment from a friend of mine called Ibramovic Jr. on Facebook, he says, proper guidance by the parents is the cause of teenage pregnancies. Yani lack of proper, guidance by the parents is the cause of all pregnancy. Actually, people are agreeing with us on social media, and thank you so much. And I want to appreciate also everyone is watching. So, Tabesu, what do you think the issues of girl empowerment, have we lacked mentorship? Because again, let's differentiate empowerment and mentorship. Because there has been girls empowerment. But we have girls getting pregnant in very high rate. Go on my Twitter right now and you'll see a post that I retweeted on Turkana. Over 3,000 girls in Turkana County got pregnant in the last 3 months. And that is our country. So when we talk about empowerment, Tabesu, do you think there's lack of mentorship? We are focusing more on talking about issues of empowering, but we are not mentoring. What do you think on the issue of girls?
On the issue of girls, Again, I like to look at it in two ways.
Yes.
I like looking at things two way. And all of us have choices to make. And we have been given that liberty to choose. But again, we may ask, what am I choosing? I've not had someone to tell me, or rather ask me how I'm feeling today, where I was, what is making me come home at 10 p.m., what I've been doing, what is in my room, who are my friends. And then you tell me to choose. What am I choosing from? So to answer your question, yes, there is a form of lack of mentorship. However, there are also some who have been taught and they have chosen the other side. So you now face the consequences.
Yes.
However, I like to talk to parents and ask the question. And I'll ask them, when was the last time you took some time with your child, or rather your daughter? Some me time, you as the parent, to just sit down with your girl, get to know how they are doing, go out of the normal day-to-day activities. When was the last time you did that? And you'll find that there's also a lot of toxicity that is happening even in the homes, whereby the child may have wanted, just like we are saying, to have the parent as a friend, but there's a lot of toxic energy that is around. So this is also another emerging trend that is happening, where there's a lot of toxic energy that is running in the homes. So that also waters down the mentorship. So there's that lack of role modeling. However, it's also two-way. You may not have it at home, but what choice have you taken to go ahead and seek that help?
That is a very good perspective. That is a very good perspective, and actually we have faced this in our meetings as I'm coming to give you a chance to finish to say your final words. Whereby we mentor young people, you mentor the children, you mentor the youth, but when they go home, like we have a program, Nikki, we go to all the schools during when the schools are on. But when these young people go home and come back, they are totally the same like they left. Because you empower them, you talk to them, you tell them this is the right way to do life. But when they go home, it is watered down. They find parents fighting. They find, like me now, I say, for example, me and my wife, I insult my wife in front of Caden. And now they wonder, Moses, yes, tells us this is the right way to go. But when I go home, there is no place. And then when I go to church, I'm judged. Where is my part? So, Nikki, go as I give you the opportunity
I just wanted to add on what Abisu is, just to say it as it is. Girls out there, they need to understand that getting things bigger, things, quote unquote, it's not what you want. It's not a way. It's not a direction you want to head. But I understand, Moses, when we say you give them mentorship and they find a different setup out there. Because what do they see? Ladies try to look pretty.
Yeah.
The issues of sponsorship right now. So they will see it. Now I'm talking
Put
to the
sponsorship
girls.
in quotes.
In quotes. Yeah. For us, we need different sponsorship for this program.
Yep, right.
But quote unquote sponsorship. So they will find out that you're trying to tell them, doing things right,
yes,
this will get you somewhere. But they do not know that it takes a process. You need to give it time. So they will go back home and find out their bigger sister is looking pretty. Let's call it the bum and these other things. They are bigger. So she's being dropped there by Lexus and things. So she has money. You think Moses, she will take time at TCG to enrich her mind?
No, she'll
They
not.
won't.
She will not.
She will look for makeup. These things that they inject themselves behind there. Look things, and then she will want that kind of money, of which I want to advise them. It does not, if you want to know, a shilling you've sweat for, it feels better when spending it.
It's more sweeter.
It's more sweet.
And we'll come with that topic another day, because of time. But I totally agree. But again, because I want to answer you that, I don't want to leave it hanging. That even as we tell the girls, funika miguu, we also need to tell our boys, zip up. Good. We cannot tell girls to cross their legs, and then we are not telling the boys to zip up. And therefore, we need really to balance the issues of mentorship and how we do it. And even my friends out there who do girl empowerment, remember that empowerment without mentorship is just any other information. And remember, empowering the boy child without mentorship is just any other kind of information. So, Nikki, take a minute and tell us, very shortly, are you mentoring someone, yes or no? and then give us your final thoughts. Tabesu, the same. Are you mentoring someone? Not in a way that, we do the real talk, we do Destiny Shapers mentorship. I know you mentor, we mentor many people, but I'm asking specifically, if I would ask you to mention, would you? That one person every morning you follow up, or not, even if not every morning, there are people who, you are mentoring as far as your life is concerned. So, yes or no? And then you give us your final thoughts.
Yes. I would not say that I'm yet to the point saying that I'm mentoring them, but I have people that I talk to.
Yes.
And we share.
Yes.
And I try to guide them in the right way in terms of business. I thank God that he gave me a brain that can think, understand what I mean by that.
Yes.
So
wisdom, the principal thing. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7.
And concepts. I find that an easy thing to do in terms of social media. So I have people that I talk to, and I'm working on something that I can be able now to mentor people.
Yes.
In terms of craft and art, what I'm inclined to. So that I'm coming up with that.
Yes.
But I just want to keep it low right now.
Yes.
And then I'll bring it out.
Thank you so much. You always direct to the point, and you do not lie. I know you on that one.
It's
so
hard. 30
seconds, Nicky Robert. Your last word. Look at that camera.
Okay.
And final word as far as mentorship is concerned.
I don't know if I'll be able to address everyone, but starting to the parents, I want to tell you that you need to think about your child. Leave alone what you want for them. You need to understand what they want themselves. You need to understand where they, as their goals, visions, where do they want to go. That's to the parents. To the young people, if you want to get somewhere, I know you'll make mistakes, but bring down your ego, understand, and be willing to be impacted upon in terms of wisdom. Listen to what your elderly people are telling you, and I think you'll go far. Try to be a person who really wants to harness wisdom, who is looking for wisdom. I think those are a few things that will help you in life. And everyone out there that has been watching this, I appreciate you and I thank you so much. And I want to thank you, Moses, again for having me on this panel. And we'll meet out there. If you see me out there and you're having an issue, this is the one thing that I would want to tell people out there. Just talk to me. I have friends in places who I can. Thank you so much.
Thank
Moses.
you so much, Nicky Robert, for always joining us. Tabesu, do you have a girl that you're mentoring or boy? And what are your final thoughts as far as this topic is concerned? And Oremo Wanjoro, a friend of mine who is a teacher, says exactly on point, Tabesu. That was yours.
Yes, I have someone I've been working with. It's a learning process. So that to answer your question is yes. Okay. And my final words to the mentees, I'll begin with the parents. For you as the parent, are you a toxic parent? When was the last time you took time to listen to your child? How well can you describe your child? Do you only listen to the information out there about your child, or you can give a testimony of who you know your child as? Do you know their social media accounts? Are they your friends? Even though they are not your friends, are you willing to just get to know what they do in their time alone? And to the mentees, I'll leave you with 3 words. Jipende, jitunze, na ujiheshimu. There's no other person who will love you the way you love yourself. There's no other person who will respect you the way you respect yourself. And there's no other person who will take care of you like you are going to take care of yourself. Mine is to say thank you, Musa, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. As we celebrate 100 years of Nanyuki's existence, many people will be focusing on the issues of real estate. Others will be focusing on the development that has happened in this town and county for the last 100 years. But as an individual, I want to focus on asking myself, what is the kind of legacy that I'm leaving when I'm gone? Because when I'm gone, they will not remember the kind of houses I owned. They will not remember how many kind of lands that I owned. But one of the things that I'll remember is how I made someone else feel. And that one, means, who have I mentored? I know many people don't like talking about this, but I envision that time when I'm dead and my eulogy is being read. Can there be someone who can stand and read and say, this man changed my life? Not he had a very good car, not he had very good phone, but can they stand and say, this man changed my life? That is what mentorship is all about. I'll leave you with 2 words. Be one, make one. Be that mentor. Be that mentor that we are talking about. And then you have also to have one. Because you cannot also mentor people and you yourself, you have no mentors. Actually, like Nicky Robert was saying, I have mentors all over different industries. You know, when we come to church, there are men that I look up to. There is a pastor and an elder. I'm not going to mention their names. But there are people that I look up to. When it comes to the issues of business and mentorship, there are people that I look up to. My wife knows there is one person that is out of the country. And when I think of anything about mentorship, I call this person and tell them, I am thinking of doing this. What do you think? Do you think it's making sense? There's a video that I've done. You watch it and tell me what you think. And they correct me and they tell me, Moses, this is not the right way. You need this, you need that. You know, when it comes to the parents, my mom is, actually one of the first mentors that I know. She might not have been educated, but there's that call you make and you say, Mama, I need to do this. What do you think? I'm also very blessed with good in-laws that you can call and ask them, what do you think about this project that you are thinking of having? And therefore, my challenge to all of our viewers, be one and have one. You be one mentor, you mentor one person, and all these ills that we are seeing in our society will reduce because of mentorship. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our viewers. I want to thank our technical team. Let me mention them today. Bwana Brian, thank you so much. Bwana Steve, asante sana, tunakushukuru. And the leader of the team, Pastor Andrew Letsam, thank you so much, sir, even for, availing the equipment and making sure that we are listened to. And we have also another karaoke, karibu sana, sorry. The technical team on the other side, they are pointing to karaoke and, you cannot see them. But one of these days, we shall turn the camera around and you will see our technical team. Thank you so much, Masai Leather Collection. Thank you so much for making us be watched by so many people. Join us every Wednesday for a kind of a discussion like this. And if you have any concern or comments or a topic that you would want us to talk about, we'll be more than glad to be able to do that. Thank you so much. I've seen a comment actually from one of our viewers and saying, can you talk about sexual abuse in women, and more so, the unspoken pain? We shall look for time and we'll talk about that one. Our viewer who have written this one, if you can be able to come on live, we would want to hear your views, but we will also look for a panel of experts that can be able to talk about that, not only in girls, but also, unspoken sexual harassment and abuse amongst our boys and men. Thank you so much. God bless you. An announcement on Sunday, we'll have a conversation with Mount Kenya Baptist Youth. We'll have a panel of experts who are very, have been in different seasons of relationship, from being single, from being married one day, from being engaged, an experience of 20 years. And we look forward for that fruitful discussion. And if you love this video, like it and share it. And God bless you. This has been your host, Musa Laikipia. This is Real Talk Today. Bye-bye.